The fragility of this video is delicious. Oh my goodness. So one of the main reasons that I left the right is that I came to the conclusion that they're even more racist than the left. And I think everything that has transpired since then has proven that to be an accurate statement. Because this video, this leaked audio of Matt Walsh is, man, it is the chef's kiss. It really is. It is emblematic of all the criticisms that I've levied against the conservative right for a while now. And as I've said before, when they mention America or Americans, they're referencing white people. They're not mentioning, they don't think about black Americans. That's not what they consider as America, as the poster child of America. They view it as white. When they talk about this country, they mean white people. That's what they mean. Now, they've tried to deny it. Oh, that's not what we mean. We mean everyone. We want all Americans. This doesn't mean if you're black, white, blah, blah, blah. But that's bullcrap. And I can't stand that bullcrap. It's tantamount to when they're celebrating Independence Day and they're like, well, you know, later on, you guys can come on too. It's for everybody. And it's like, no, that's not what Independence Day was about, okay? That's not what it was about. While you had, as far as black American slaves, y'all were celebrating freedom and then invited Frederick Douglass to do a speech. This is the type of hypocrisy that is this country. This is the type of anti-black hatred that is America. And there's nothing wrong with saying that, as long as you're trying to rectify this anti-black sentiment that has, you know, created very, very strong roots in this country. But even acknowledging that, when it comes to the white conservative, they say, oh, why you have to make it about race? It's like, we didn't make it about race. Black people, black Americans have never made it about race. We wanted to go to the water fountain just like you. We didn't make it about race. We wanted to live in that neighborhood just like you. We didn't make it about race. There is, I mean, the litany of things that these group of people have done and then try to gaslight us into making it seem that, hey, we're the problem, is astronomical. It really is. And in this video, it is gold. Because you have this guy who clearly is in an interracial marriage, right? His wife is clearly Mexican, and he's talking to Matt Walsh. And he's like, hey, listen, people can come over here from Mexico and assimilate. And Matt Walsh is like, no. Listen, race and culture are the same. It's not going to happen. Of course they're going to bring their culture over here, all right? Anglo-Saxons created this country.
Bringing the culture with them, of course they're going to. Of course they're going to. That's what makes them Mexican. Of course they will. That is not.
I'm saying if they stop identifying themselves as just Mexicans and they start, appreciating the country that they currently reside.
What is the country? I mean,
America.
Well, then, what does that mean? If you take away the Anglo-Saxon culture, which is what started this damn country.
Yeah, but you can.
Sorry, not damn country.
You can adopt philosophies, is my point. So I'm confused by race or culture. Like, what are you promoting?
Both. You can't separate them. They're the same.
And I'm just thinking to myself, are we still going off of this lie? Is this really what we're still going off of? Right? It's crazy because this video was in 2011, I believe. And I'm like, do people still believe that they created this country? Because that's as bad as you still believing in the Easter Bunny or Santa Claus or that Christopher Columbus discovered America. Like, what other whitewash myths, not even myths, just bald-faced lies, what other lies are they still perpetuating? Like, listen, there was no country. Do they understand this? That there was land. That's all there was. And in fact, they were giving away land. They were asking people to come over here and please use this land. And guess how they used the land? These mofos were so lazy that what did they use? They used slave labor. And it's crazy when they try to dismiss or downplay the role that labor had in this country. Like, you wouldn't have anything if it was not for black American labor. And you guys couldn't let it go to the point that you tried to racialize slavery, which was a wild concept. Because they want to talk about everyone was slaves. But there was only one group of people that tried to pin slavery as a good thing, as it was beneficial to black people. This type of wickedness is the same type of wickedness that I've said before, that we see all throughout history. There is a lineage of evil that currently we are dealing with. And I want people to understand what he is saying. When it comes to assimilation, this is essentially just get out. So they want to strip you of your blackness, of your black American culture, and assimilate you into theirs. That's where you get the Brandon Tatums. That's where you get the conservative perspective. That's where you get the Candace Owens. That's where you get these black conservatives, because they have stripped away who they are as a black person and have replaced that with white platitudes and white concerns. That's why they don't speak on behalf of black people, but they speak to black people on the behalf of white people, because that's their job in this country. That's how they have made it to the positions that they are in, by as far as, giving cover for the racist, dominant society. But then the audio gets even better, because then Matt Walsh starts crying about birth rates. I kid you not. All the stuff that I've heard, whether it's Dr. Francis Welsing, whether it's Claude Anderson, whether it's a litany of black scholars, everything. This is the accumulation of all of their work in an audio bite. He's complaining about birth rates. He's like, listen, we're just going to die out. And I'm just like, what? Are you, what? Is he really saying this? Is this really what they're thinking? Because you can always assume, right? This is probably what based on how you're behaving, right? Based off of how you behaved in the past, which is from an inferiority complex, I can now see, how you're behaving currently and probably what you think.
When the original inhabitants of at least the United States of America are dying off because we've decided we're too cool to have kids, then why wouldn't they bring their culture? Because there's a cultural void. What I'm saying is that when we die off, as we have been, we have left a cultural void.
What you think, which is leading to these actions of inferiority, because a group of people who believe them to be superior don't behave the way that these races have behaved historically. They don't do that. What they have done is exactly what the scripture says they've done, to kill, steal, and destroy. That's literally what they have done for centuries and centuries and centuries. And then try to downplay that due to inventions that many of them stole or many of them were assisted with. Like say, hey, but look at what we created. And it's like, yeah, but at what cost though? And what you created is nothing more than corruption. It's just a nice, fancier corruption than other countries in which you decimated, right? You go to another country, decimate it, destroy, the rulers, destroy the foundation, then come back here and say, well, look how great we are. It's like, well, you freaking pillaged over here. You destroyed over here. You toppled that system over here. Of course you're going to be good. Of course you're going to be better than the other people that you destroyed. But that's another story. I just find it interesting of Matt Walsh crying about, hey, well, we need to create more white babies, because that's what he's saying. And it's hilarious because the guy doesn't get it. He doesn't get it because the dude is still talking about, well, listen, my wife, Maria, Maria is not Anglo-Saxon. And, I think she's adopted into the culture, which is, think about this. They're saying what I've been saying for quite some time, and what people before me have been saying for decades and generations.
I mean, I married somebody that's, I don't think Maria's Anglo-Saxon, and she definitely has left her culture at the door. So, I mean, if Maria and I have 5 kids, now I'm confused. Am I perpetuating the problem or helping?
That's what they want. They want to duplicate a white person. That's what they want. Whether it's mentally, physically, spiritually, that's their goal. That's what they want. That's what the guy is saying who is married to a non-white person. He's saying, hey, I've got her. I've assimilated her. She thinks just like you and me. And Matt Walsh is going a step further by saying, listen, that's not good enough. Because what he tries to do is backpedal. He's trying to say, well, you're trying to make me out to be this racist or whatnot. And that's not what I'm saying.
Keep bringing this up and it makes me look like I'm making some racist point. I know you say that's what you're trying to do, but that's obviously not what I'm saying. Have relations and kids with whoever you fall in love with. That's great. All I'm saying is that as a general rule, for our culture and our identity to continue, we need to just procreate.
All I'm saying is And he then goes on to talk about, hey, essentially what he said in the beginning half, which is race and culture are the same. And that white people need to have babies with other white people in order to keep the population alive, in order to keep the birth rates alive, or else they're gonna become extinct. And he goes on to say, well, we had a good 300-year run and something like that, but it is what it is.
Or we can become extinct. If that's the route we choose, then hey, it was a good run. Got a good 300 years out of it, almost.
And it's just like, this is wild to actually hear this. It's just wild to actually hear this from someone of such prominence, such as Matt Walsh. You have, the cretins of the political arena saying this stuff. You have, offshoots, YouTube channels and stuff like saying this stuff. But it's so interesting to see, this really is what you guys think and what you guys fear. This is amazing. Because in addition to all of this, he talks about the Civil War was a culture problem.
That's why we fought the Civil War to begin with, was because there was a cultural difference between the North and the South.
Think about what he just said. He said the Civil War was a culture problem. Now, mind you, he just said earlier that race and culture are the same. You can't separate the two. Who was the Civil War between? Was it between whites and blacks? Huh? Was it between whites and Asians? Who was the Civil War between? The Civil War was between white people and white people. What? So what are you talking about? Your whole theory of race and culture completely gets destroyed. Who's the culture that we have right now? Who's causing your children to transition? Is it black culture? No. Nothing in black American culture or African American culture promotes or accepts what's going on currently. Who's causing your children to be a part of the alphabet? Huh? It's not black culture. Whose culture is this? It's white culture. It just is what it is. Who's causing as far as the bestiality and everything? It's not black culture. It's not us. It's your culture. Who's causing as far as when it comes to inflation, when it comes to homeless, when it comes to poverty, when it comes to the greed, and when it comes to the corporation greed, when it comes to crony capitalism? Whose culture is that? It's not our culture. It's not our culture, right? We tried to build, and we see one group of people have constantly throughout history tried to destroy. They got so upset when we were building that they bombed an entire block. Think about that. They got upset when we were building communities that they used the government to enact their racism and build highways through our communities and kicked us out. So when they talk about culture and, we need the culture and this is the culture that built America, I don't think so, Pimpin. I don't think so, okay? Because they're delusional. It's from a form of inferiority. And this is why the birth rates are going down, because regardless of your skin color, when it comes to man and woman, a woman wants a man and a man wants a woman. And unfortunately, a lot of these white males they're not men. They're constantly complaining. They're whining about, I'm being attacked, right? You had the one song, right? The one song talking about the rich men of Northmen. Why me and everything I just, right? And it's just like, well, everything you're showing is that you become pussified. That's what it is. Everything that you despise and hate, allegedly, you've embraced. So naturally, if the women, if they want a man, well, they have to go venture out because they can't listen to you complain and cry and then eventually transition, which is what many of these white males are doing, or, offing themselves and then leaving the family alone. Because they can't, go to therapy and get some help, right? Which is crazy because if you think of black men and the history we have in this country, it's nowhere near the off rate of when it comes to white males. But then, it's just very interesting when you juxtapose the two. So what it leads a gap because these women still want men. They still want families. So what do? They venture out. They go to Mexican men. They go to Asian men. They go to black men because white men have, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I really don't know what happened. I would say it's God. That's who I would say. I would say God, it's coming full circle. All the horrible, wicked behavior that you've been doing and showing to other groups of people. Not all of them, but the racist ones. That's what we have to be clear, because a lot of the progress that is happening is due to, you know, the John Browns of society. But the non-John Browns, they're really suffering, right? You can see the incel rate is skyrocket. So they're really getting all the wickedness, unfortunately, that they put out into the world. And when it comes to the culture, well, if you're so in love with the race and culture belief, then go somewhere else. Leave the U.S., okay? Leave. If you don't care about the land, which is the United States, then fine. Go somewhere. We'll give you guys a little piece of land somewhere in Africa, okay? And you can have the white people and your Anglo-Saxon culture on a little strip of land in Africa, okay? How about that? Simple. I think that's a good deal. You should take it. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Let me know what you guys think. Whether or not you believe, look, no, that's not true. That's racist. You're being racist. Look, that's not what he meant. Or if you don't believe, you see that right there? That little whining, that little fragility. That's why you're in the position you're in. That's why your little Timmy is transitioning. That's why little Timmy either is transitioning, can't get girls, and is surely not having families. That's why your birth rates are declining. That right there. You know, and then on the flip side, then you get the January 6th, which is like, well, who wants to reproduce with a person with an IQ below room temperature? So, I mean, it seems like a catch-22 for y'all, but, you know, it is what it is. That's God. Nevertheless, if you happen to disagree with the video, you're more than welcome to call in during disagreement days. We're typically held Friday through Sunday. There'll be a number on screen. You call in, we duke it out. Either or, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Till next time, guys, be amazing. Because these women still want men. They still want families. So what do? They venture out.